everybody, and welcome back to another video by Funlearn Tutorials. In today's video, what we are going to do is an econometric topic, and essentially we'll be focusing on the time series aspect of econometrics. In today's video, we are going to learn how to apply the iterative process. So what essentially is the iterative process? Now this iterative process is actually a method by which we can generate different forms of the same autoregressive function. So let me just talk a little bit in brief about the autoregressive DGP. DGP is actually the data generating process. Now what do I mean by that? In time series, essentially we get values for different times, so we have different y's for different t's. So we have yt's. Now why do we use the term autoregressive? Essentially we are regressing yt on itself. Auto means itself and we have regressive. So what we do is we regress yt on itself. Regressive means it depends, right? We use regressions when we have one variable, suppose yt depends on x, then we regress y on x. Here yt depends on itself. So auto regression means if we have yt on the left hand side of the regression equation, then we have functions of yt minus k. Suppose if t is today, then the current value of yt, because t is today, so t is today's current, so yt today current value of yt depends on the past values of y, and there might be an error component associated with it. We denote the error component with et or epsilon t. That depends upon the curriculum that you're following, but most of the time it's epsilon t, and it's safe to take epsilon t as your error term. So yt depends upon the past values of the variable itself. Now you see y is here on this side of the equation, the regression equation, and y is present on this side of the equation as well. The only difference is this is the current value and this is k values lagged. So it's if k is 1, then and if t is measured in per day unit, then this is the current value, this is the value for yesterday. If k is 2, then that is t minus 2, so that's 2 days before. But at the end of the day, you're still regressing y on itself. So it's auto-regressive equation. Now there are orders of autoregressive equations. So you have something called the order of autoregressive equation. These are all very basic definitions and very basic terminologies of the time series, the theory of the time series. So if we have order, it essentially gives you the lag, the k value. So order is actually the k value. Now by convention, when we consider autoregressive order, we denote it by p. And you could ask me, why are we not using k with p? The thing is, now you can understand. Suppose I want to regress an equation. Again, it's an autoregressive equation. Again, you can use y, small y, capital Y. There are sometimes portions where you might come across y taken as the difference from their mean. So in some cases yt might actually stand for capital Yt minus capital Y bar, but depending upon the notations that you are following, yt, and at least here in the current context we can use both small yt or current or capital Yt. So let me just say that capital Yt depends on, or we can actually put a basic constant here as well. Like sometimes when we run regression functions, we run y's of y equal to a plus alpha plus beta xt, right? So we can put a constant here as well. So suppose this is phi naught. So current value of y depends on a constant value, plus it also depends on a fixed constant. Then we have the past value of yt minus 1. So the today's value depends on the past value at one period, like that is yesterday's value, plus epsilon t. This would be called order 1. Why is it order 1? Because here the highest value of k that you can see is 1. So k equal to 1, and p equal to 1. You will come across why I am saying p equal to 1 as well right about now. So now if I want to take a different form, right? So if I want to say, no, I have a different autoregressive equation in mind. I want to say, yes, current value of yt depends on the constant function, on a constant value. So whatever the value of past values be, there is always going to be this component that determines today's value. And of course, there is going to be a past value because it's an autoregressive function. So there has to be past values involved. But it's not just the past value of yesterday. It can actually depend on the value 2 days before as well. So suppose the current price of something depends on the price of that component, of the price of that commodity yesterday, and it also depends on the price of the commodity 2 days ago or 1 day ago, right? That can also happen. So we can have phi 2 yt minus 2. So yt minus 2 also determines yt. It's not impossible. And we can have an error term. Note that the error term is always et, epsilon t. So the error term is always associated with today's value, current value. Here you can see that k, there are two values, right? If I roll back yt minus k, but you have t minus k as t minus 1 and you have t minus k as t minus 2. So there are two values of k equal to 1 and 2. This p actually gives you the maximum value of k. So here p is 2. So the difference is, this is called AR1. This is called AR1 because the maximum value p is equal to 1. This is called AR2. This is called AR2 because p's value is 2, that is the maximum value of k. So what happens is, this order gives you the, so actually it's not k, it's actually p that gives you the order of the auto-regression. That essentially gives you how much the past values are taken into consideration when we consider the present value of a variable. This is essentially the notation that we are going to follow when we consider autoregressive data generating processes. Now that actually also ensures, or that actually wants us to know if we have a generalized autoregressive. So if we have ARK, now what do I mean by that? I am not sure. K can take any value. I just want to get a generalized equation of an autoregressive data generating process. So that I could actually write down as yt is equal to phi naught plus phi 1 yt minus 1, and then it starts going all the way. So you have phi 2, you have phi 2 yt minus 2. So you have the term that we used just in our previous equation. Then you have another term, because you can have k equal to 3, you can have AR3. So you can have phi 3 yt minus 3, and then so on and so forth. And then it ends at phi k yt minus k. So it ends at phi k yt minus k, and of course you have the error term. You cannot leave out the error term. No matter what AR value you have to use the error term. That is sort of the essential story that builds up the econometric. The entire exercise, the entire subject is based on epsilon t. How you want to analyze epsilon t, that is actually the reason why we are doing all of this. So this can be your general ARK method. Now based on these three, or even like k can take different values, so based on this general function or based on these individual, what we can do is, there are different ways of expressing this. It's a process, right? Data generating process. Why is it called a data generating process? Because we have data on this, we have data on these three. That is the main concept of an equation, or even in a regression, you have information for the right hand side of the equation and you want to generate the value, the unknown values that you can get from the left hand side of the equation. So you're generating data, and this is the process that you have. So it's a data generating process. Now this data generating process, there can be different methods of expressing the same function, right? Of course, if you think of even basic mathematical functions, writing 2x is the same thing as writing 4x by 2, right? It's very basic, but at the end of the day, it's still two different ways of expressing the same thing. So similarly, even in this context, you can have different styles of the same equation that reveal something else. For example, here you have phi naught. You can say, okay, phi naught, that means it's an essential component that does not depend on time. So yt will always there will be one component of yt which is always phi naught, irrespective of what the time be. Today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 2 days after tomorrow, 2 years after tomorrow, there will still be that phi naught component. Phi 1 on the other hand, it gives a constant fraction type thing that depends on the 1 year, one time period lag value for that particular variable. Phi 2 is different. Phi 2 might be different, might not be different. That depends upon the considerations that you have. So if the value y was yt minus 1 day ago, then today there will be one fraction of that. Or if phi 1 is a fraction, or if phi 1 is greater than 1, then you can have a multiple of yt minus 1 that determines yt. So you can interpret something from this equation, right? These equations, these forms of the particular equations give you some intuition about how the DGP looks like. Similarly, there are different ways that you can do that. An iterative process is a process that allows you to give a second opinion or a second look at how the DGP looks like. Right, so that is what we are going to discuss in this series, and in the next video I'm going to be applying the iterative process on the AR1 component. So look forward to that video. Thank you.